Welcome to another video from the Outdoor Analyst. Guys, today I've got a super fun one for you. This is going to be a series I do of finding the perfect hunting rifle for America. And for most Americans that are out there, the average guy who wants to be able to hunt everything in the country, let's just say lower 50, in one platform. And I mean that. One rifle, one cartridge, one scope. For YouTube listing, no, I'm not talking about brands or comparisons. This is just going to be cartridges today. Every brand makes all of these cartridges basically. So, step off on that one. Haha. Okay, and on that note, subscribe if you like this content. If you want to kind of follow my journey on here, finding the best rifle. I'm going to take you through exactly what I've been going through right now. That'll work for me. That works for the average hunter that goes, that goes from the East Coast to the West Coast to the South. And that's where I'm at. If you want to check out the website below, that's great. Got affiliate links in there. Anything you buy off Amazon, hey, we appreciate it. It helps the channel out. Yeah, that's that. Subscribe for sure. If you like the content, that really helps us out the most. So here we go. Here's kind of my honest to God breakdown of the rifle that I have been trying to create. And I'm going to start. But I think this is what has just absolutely plagued me the most, is what is the cartridge I want to do this in. If I'm going to build something that's ultimately, rugged, that I can do a little bit of everything everywhere I go, out west, out east in the woods, I want to be able to smoke some medium-sized game and then be able to take large game or protect myself from dangerous game when I'm out in the woods. And here are really probably some of my favorite cartridges that fit this, that you can load down, you can load up, that can take the smallest game. We're talking what most people are shooting, medium-sized game anyway. You're going to go in deer, antelope, pronghorn, that sort of thing, depending on whether you're on a ranch or not. And then all the way up to elk, definitely moose is going to be on there, brown bear possibly. I feel like almost all those hunts are really all in Alaska. I'm kind of going to just skip Alaska. If you're going to Alaska, guys, you all know nothing else matters. You're going to get something very special, specialty round. That's what you're going to go for, and you're going to get that in a beast rifle that can handle that sort of weather. And part of that's going to be a little bit of handling all sorts of weather is going to be part of the rifle choice. But really, this is cartridge. This is where it starts. What do you chamber it in for something that can take every game comfortably in the United States? I think all these rounds work, and I really do. I don't think you're going to be wrong with going 308, 270, 7mm rim mag, 300 RUM. Each one of these can take medium game, can take large game. If you load for it, way, you definitely can. I've got a chart here kind of with what I consider medium game rounds. These can all go up to large game. With bullets, each one of these cartridges can take everything these days. Welcome to 2022. Grab some copper, grab some partitions. There are so many incredible bullets that you can load these with that can take big game. So now, granted, everything in front of you is basically ballistic tips, which I love for deer. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest. That's what smokes deer. And antelope. For the larger one, the rum, you may want to actually put in some partitions so it just punches through and doesn't explode on impact, because that's a lot of energy hitting the deer or something small. So here we go. 308. This is my favorite deer cartridge. So on the lower end, and yes, this is going to be what I consider probably the sweet spot for 308, but putting SSTs in there is going to be the deer load, and you are going to be shooting a velocity of 2890 and energy of 2955. That's pretty fantastic. 270 almost matches it. I consider these cartridges almost just interchangeable. Anything the 308 can do, the 270 can do, and vice versa. The 270 will do it flatter. The 308 obviously has a larger bullet that it is throwing, so therefore it will hit just with a little more, well, you get a bigger hole. What other way can you say it? It is what it is. But I think they're almost identical. Just one's a little flatter, one leaves a little bigger hole in there. Take your pick. They're going to be able to take deer, and here's kind of the energy requirements for medium game. Is roughly 1,000 foot-pounds of energy is what you need to take deer, essentially. palas, deer, smaller game, pronghorns, that sort of thing. For large game, it needs to be around like 1,500, maybe a little larger, maybe a little more than that on average. It just kind of depends who you're talking to. I think with bullet choices, if you hit it with 1,500 pounds of energy, you're going to take all the big game in the country without a problem. Now, each one of these cartridges, as you can tell, beats that out to 300, 1,800, 1,600, 21, 27, 2,900 foot-pounds of energy, not 27, sorry, 21, 29 foot-pounds of 100 foot-pounds of energy. My goodness, the rum is absolutely crazy, out to 300 yards. So that means you can take all big game and definitely all medium-sized game out to 300 without a problem. When you get out to 400 yards, the 308 and the 270, and yes, you can do different loads, but really it's around 400 yards where it starts to lose that steam of confidence where I would want to be taking an elk or a moose with. In all reality, 300 yards is really where I want to be, just energy-wise. 1,800, around 1,700, depending on the load. That's what I want to be hitting it with. So that's just me. That's my own personal preference. Some people will go way smaller. I've seen 6.5 Creed take massive stuff, and it's definitely not hitting with that energy at those distances that it's been taken. What does that mean? It means bullet technology has gotten better. So if you just hit something in the right spot with the right bullet, and it doesn't matter as much as I feel like it used to, where the energy requirements were because bullet technology was so bad. It just wasn't where it is now. So that's why I'm saying easily you can really do 400. If it makes you feel better, 300 yards and in. These two things take everything in the country, and they're fairly light recoiling, and I think that's amazing. Let's move up to the bigger ones, 7mm rim mag. Oh, what a beautiful thing. 300 rum. Why is this not 300 Win Mag? Honestly, because you can do almost everything that the 300 Win Mag can do just with lighter recoil, and in some cases this will outperform it. They go back and forth a little bit. Truth is, they're both great choices. I just like a little bit less recoil if I'm not going to break it or I'm not going to suppress the gun. It is what it is. And for that, I can take deer, oh my goodness, way further than I would ever shoot. You're looking way past 700 yards, essentially on energy needed for deer. And then same thing for elk, you can take them out to, really 500, no problem. You're at 1,600 foot-pounds of energy with a freaking 139 grain bullet. This is my deer bullet. You can take these up to 175, so you can go better BCs, get a little further out there. It'll be shooting slower, but the energy will be there, and you can, go an extra 100 yards. That's pretty incredible. Now, 300 rum destroys everything as far as energy, distance. You can take moose, you can take elk out to 900 without even a problem. Can anybody shoot that ethically? I don't think so. The circumstances, unless you're in a perfect circumstance, I don't think that's a smart shot for anyone. I would never do it. Matter of fact, I'll never take a shot past 400 yards. That's my happy limit. I think that's when you get past that, bullet drop and just wind drift can get way too crazy to predict in some cases, depending on your location. And it's just not worth it for me. So to me, with saying that, the fact is I could take 308 and 270 and do everything in the United States with. When it comes to dangerous game being around, I'm not going to be hunting brown bear in the lower 50, which is kind of my caveat. So there's no point for me to really be going, honestly, that higher end. If you want to be the big stomper on everything you ever shoot, go with 300 rum. If you're really worried about recoil, break the gun and then put a nice stock on it, and you can legitimately tame this recoil to be less than a 308, more like a 7.62 by 39. How do I know this? Because I've shot a rifle that does that. 300 rum can have almost zero recoil, and you can have a 10-year-old shoot it comfortably and just be shocked that, wow, that was loud. I barely felt it on my shoulder. So you can shoot that really, really well. Now, you can take that same philosophy with all of these rounds, and recoil doesn't even matter anymore, as long as you have earplugs or headphones when you're actually out there hunting. Otherwise, with a break, you might lose some hearing, especially with 300 rum. So where does that really leave me, honestly? I think everybody might know what I already chose. I chose a 7mm Rem Mag. That's what I'm going for, just because it can take distance further than the 270 and the 308. If you're out shooting rams or out shooting sheep and you need super long shots out west, the 7mm rim mag can make that shot with less wind drift, less drop, make it easier on the shooter, and still be in a fairly light package. Fairly. It's still a Magnum cartridge. Don't fool yourself. There's still a lot of recoil to this, much more than the 270 and 308. But I think it's pretty handy. You can handle it even in a fairly light rifle. It's not going to absolutely destroy you. Anybody that's been hunting truly knows if you're on the bench rest, it hurts 10 times more than if you're actually standing, crouching, like really prone. You don't notice it in the field. I shoot 300 Weatherby most of the time when I'm hunting, and I don't even notice it. Get on the bench, I might add a pad to my shoulder. Outside, barely even know I'm shooting it. It's fantastic. And that's just how it really works in real life. So don't think that, you know, your bench rest shooting is the same as shooting in real life. And you shouldn't be shooting that way when you're practicing. If you got it sighted in, stop shooting on a bench. Just stop it. You're not helping yourself out in the field. Shoot like you shoot in the field when you practice. You think you look dumb? Who cares? Who cares what other people think? If you bring home an entire freezer full of meat because you've been practicing correctly, good on ya. Anyway, weird caveat there. So there it is. That's my cartridge selection for, I think, the best one in the country. I am literally saying 7mm Rem Mag, for me, right now, works the best. It's not super kicky on recoil. It can take anything in the 50 states, lower 50s, my main caveat. No, I would not make it my #1 choice if I'm shooting brown bears on Kodiak Island. I'd even up gun from the 300 rum. I'll tell you straight up. I'm gonna be in a different caliber. But that's a whole different story. This is just the one gun to rule them for medium game and large game that everybody can use. Everybody can take it everywhere, whether you're shooting sheep, whether you're shooting elk, whether you're going for buffalo, whether it's whitetails or rather it's, impalas. Yeah, just pronghorns, whatever. African game, American game, same thing. Those little things will fall over rather you basically just blow on them. So use a light bullet, please. Nothing major, you'll just destroy meat. Anyway, I can do it at distance with a 7mm Rem Mag. I can take big game at farther than I'm willing to shoot personally. And for me, I think that's fantastic. Could you move this into the 300 Win Mag? Yes. All you're doing is adding extra recoil. And in some cases, yes, you can use a little heavier bullets. But there's nothing a 175er can't take. And nothing that a 140 in the medium-sized game can't take for the 7mm Rem Mag. And I think you get amazing ballistics, great wind drift, great drop. That's why I like it. And it's not truly punishing on your shoulder. I can hand this off to almost anyone as long as they're not crazy small statured. And if they are, put a brake, put a suppressor on. It takes care of those issues. I love it. I love it. So there's the cartridge, guys. That's what I chose. That's what I'm choosing. Stick with me. The next video is gonna be fun too. So where do you go from once you've chosen the cartridge? That's the fun part. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next one.